Today, I'm ranking every single Star Wars movie and TV show, starting off with A New Hope, the one that started it all. Now, since it started everything off, we're going to put in a good old S tier to start off this tier list because A New Hope was a wonderful, great movie. It started off with Darth Vader, and we saw a good old Luke Skywalker. We saw everyone, the Death Star getting blown up, and all in all, a very good movie to start off this tier list. Next, we have The Empire Strikes Back. What a great sequel, but I wouldn't put it in S tier. We saw the wonderful fight between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the iconic way of how Anakin got his hand chopped off in the prequels, and Luke gets his hand chopped off by his own father. So it's safe to say that if his father can't have his hand, so can his son, you know? All in all, what a great sequel to A New Hope. Now, the best way to end off. Now, this is what an ending should be. Not the sequel trilogy. This is what an ending should be. This is how you kill off a villain, Return of the Jedi. The best one of the original trilogy. We're going to put it right in front of A New Hope because this is how you kill off a villain. Disney. This is how George killed off Palpatine. This is how Palpatine is supposed to die. Not how he somehow got resurrected by using cloning. No, this is how he's dead. No more. No more. Okay? No more. Now we have the prequels. Now, The Phantom Menace, I'm putting it in A tier. It's not so much S just yet, but we know which one's going in S. A tier for The Phantom Menace. If Qui-Gon never died, this whole timeline would have never happened. We have the Duel of the Fates, one of the most iconic duels in all of Star Wars. Next, we have Attack of the Clones. Definitely one of the lower parts of the prequels. This will still go in A because it's made by George Lucas, but, you know. This movie, we saw the Battle of Geonosis, the start of the Clone Wars, and, yeah, the making of the clones, the Camino, all that fun stuff. So, this is definitely, I call this the political of Star Wars because this is pretty much Star Wars with politics. Okay, you know, we all know where this one's going. Do I even have to explain why? We all know that's where that's going. I'm not gonna, no. Okay, let's start off with, let's get the sequel trilogy out the way. The Force Awakens was a New Hope copycat. I'm going to go lowest D tier. It was not the worst of the sequel trilogy. It was definitely not the worst, but it was just a New Hope copycat. I guess that's why we all liked it. So, yeah. Rogue One, this is how you do a Star Wars movie, Disney. Do Rogue One. A tier. 100% A tier movie. Great movie. It's what starts off A New Hope on how Jyn Erso, Andor, that's how they get the Death Star plans, and then it literally starts off A New Hope. Wonderful, great dialogue, and this is how you do a movie, Disney. Wonderful. Now, that's going in F tier. There's... The Acolyte is worse than The Last Jedi, but I hate this movie so much. There's a lot of reasons why. Okay, so... They came off Luke Skywalker. He got high. He got high on the force. High. And that's like the worst ever in Star Wars. I don't know that's how bad that was. So all of a sudden, Luke Skywalker wants to crash away when he was supposed to start. When he was supposed to rebuild. He wasn't. He wants to rebuild the Jedi Order. And all of a sudden, you know, after Kylo Ren did what he did, he doesn't want to rebuild the Jedi Order. Now he wants to get himself on the force. It makes no sense. I don't understand. No. Rebels, wonderful show. What they did to Kanan, oh god, that made me cry. I've seen the show twice and I've cried because of how Kanan died. This was a wonderful masterpiece of a show. Rebels, wonderful. Mwah. Dave Filoni did great. Now, this is gonna be our first C. Because Solo, I watched it once, and it just talks about Han Solo's backstory and how he met Chewbacca. That's nothing really interesting going on in there. Now, I'm going to probably get a lot of hate for this show, but I really liked this show. The first time it came out, I'm going to put it as far as a B tier. I really liked the Resistance. Okay, so you have Kazuda being this, because they had the ace on there. This show was all in all, because this was start of kind of, this is what... It takes place between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. You have Kaz, which is a Resistance spy, and you have her, which was wanting to join the First Order in Season 2. Then she gets back. It's a very good story, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue episodes that doesn't really do much to the story. It's just extra episodes. But I feel like they should have did a Season 3 to this, because it ended off with her joining back to the Colossus, and you have Yeager and Kaz, which are the two Resistance spies, and don't like the First Order, so they're trying to hide the fact, because the First Order takes over the Colossus. It's a whole thing, but it's actually really interesting, so I really like that. The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to put it right above The Last Jedi, because they did all right, and I know what I said earlier about Palpatine. They should have killed him off in The Return of the Jedi, then Disney brought him back, blah, blah, blah. You get that point. The whole thing with The Rise of Skywalker is... Yeah, they did Darcy is terrible because she died. However, how they brought back still never next time he returned. But it's a little bit better now. It's the end of the whole Star Wars trilogy, and it's all right. Okay, that's why it's going an E. I can't really explain much because it's still terrible because it's Disney. This right here is a masterpiece. The Clone Wars. We're just going to put this up here. Yeah, that's well. We're gonna put these Clone Wars masterpiece, especially the very last season when Ahsoka dropped her lightsabers. And then Rex was almost going to kill Ahsoka with Order 66. Yeah. Then 5 is everyone. Yeah, anyway. Now, if you want to know my favorite show, we'll get to that later in the video. But Visions, I've actually never seen it so far. I'm just going to put it in B. Never seen the show and don't really want to because it kind of just looks like anime. And I'm not a big fan of anime. I mean, I like the Star Wars animations, don't get me wrong. But this just feels like anime, like Dragon Ball Z or something. Andor. You know what? A lot of people say this is better than The Mandalorian. Not in my opinion, but it's going in A tier. I watched it for the second time, and let me tell you, it's definitely a lot better than what I thought it was. The Mandalorian, baby. This is what I like this, okay? A lot of people give crap for what Season 3 was, but I don't understand why. Because you have Season 1 and Season 2 about Grogu, and then you have this Season 3 about the ways of Mandalorian, how Mandalorian works. I like that. And then you have a Force-sensitive, which is Grogu, going to be a Mandalorian, so we'll actually see a Force-sensitive Mandalorian, which I guess you could say Sabine is a Force-sensitive Mandalorian, but I don't know how Sabine can all of a sudden use the... Anyway, you know, Mandalorian, great, wonderful show. We'll see about the movie, too. The Book of Boba Fett. I'm going to call this Season 2.5 of Mandalorian. This show, all in all, wasn't that good. It was only good whenever Mando came on and just took over it. So, Kenobi. Now, I watched this probably twice. It's alright, because in the show we have Obi-Wan being weak after Revenge of the Sith, and then he came back and got his strength back and defeated Darth Vader for the second time. Tales of the Jedi, wonderful. We got the backstories of Ahsoka and Qui-Gon Jinn, and see what Ahsoka did after Order 66. Took down an Inquisitor with her own two hands, even without a weapon. That was cool. Ahsoka, S tier. Dave Filoni did great with Ahsoka. Bad Batch, mwah! God, I would go as far as putting it above Revenge of the Sith. I love this show. Love it. Love Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, Tech, Omega, Echo. I love all of them, especially at the end of Season 2 when Tech died. How they took over Tantus and Dr. Hemlock in Season 3. They got all the clones back, put them back on Pabu, and they can go live their life. And Omega fighting in the rebellion. Oh, God, I love this show. It's amazing. Tales of the Empire. It was an alright show, okay? We got the background of Morgan Elizabeth and Barriss Offee. And we saw how she became an Inquisitor and went back to being a Jedi. It was definitely weird with the Morgan Elizabeth background, but I did like the Barriss Offee when what she did after being a Jedi and how she returned to being a Jedi, kind of, sort of. Okay, this